This is the final report on Reed's case number 580. I already presented the preliminary report. These are his preoperative radiographs, large lesions around all three roots. There's the extraction. And this is his diagnosis page. There was a sinus tract out to the buccal. Instruments to the terminus at number 20. These are his sweeps numbers. And he used triton as the irrigant here. And when you go in and look at a triton, it's basically a tricarboxylic acid, SDS, polyethylene glycol, and some sodium hydroxide. So it's got a lot of detergents and surfactants in it, and they use citric acid as the etchant. These are pictures of the tooth as I got them, and these are my radiographs before sectioning the root. And those are the radiographs. This is the palatal root, and we got a fairly decent section. I was able to see the canal all the way to the terminus on both sections of the sagittal split. And when we look at the coronal part of the palatal root, it looks exceptionally clean. There's really very little pulpal debris, a fairly intact smear layer, but no evidence of a large biofilm existence. Looks like a very, very clean canal. Going further down the root, looking at the surface, again, a fairly uniform smear layer. Again, exceptionally clean. So I believe this irrigant has some real possibilities. When you go in and look more apically, again, you see a very clean surface. And a smear layer. But if you look carefully, you can see some remnants of hyphae or pseudo-hyphae. And you should spend some time looking at the high-resolution pictures of that, so you do see some evidence of a prior existing biofilm. This is the distal buccal root. When you look coronally, pretty much the same finding as on the palatal. A very, very clean canal with minimal debris and a very uniform smear layer. So it obviously doesn't etch the way that EDTA does. In the distal buccal, there were these accessory canal, several accessory canals that were not touched by an instrument. And when you go into those, you do see the kind of biofilm that must have been present in the other parts of the root. So there's a true biofilm signature, and you should be far enough along in your pattern recognition that you can recognize that signature. And I would spend some time and look at those high resolution images and see what you can identify. Again, a fairly massive biofilm signature in any root or any canal that wasn't instrumented with the file. There was a little bit of pulp remnants still in the mesiobuccal canal. And when you go into any of the isthmus areas or accessory canals that weren't touched with an instrument, you see a fairly uniform biofilm and fungal signature in these roots. So I'm very impressed with the sweeps and triton because we must assume this biofilm was there. And in any canal that's actually been instrumented, the canals looked incredibly clean. So I hope this gives you a little summary. If you spend some time and go through the images, the high resolution images, you should be able to identify this. Here you see the pseudo-hyphae of actinomycetes. So I hope that helps in understanding this case a little better.